Some time ago there was a discussion at the SAE committee about gaps which are created during pressurization of hydraulic components and interfaces. These gaps occur as a result of threads conforming to each other, of elasticity being worked out by vibration from the interface, etc. And metal to metal will always ultimately end up with a gap. The size of that gap determines whether or not a leak will occur, and if there is a leak, how bad that leak is. And Dick Paul said that the gap on a 37-degree fitting was less dynamic and less of a problem than a gap face-to-face. And the argument he got was a gap is a gap is a gap. So Dick, not wanting to belabor the point at the time, decided that what he would do for the next meeting was create what he calls the gap box, which was a much larger version of this little unit here, which demonstrates the effect of axial movement when interpreted by the geometry of the angles used in hydraulic systems. Our gap box shows flat-faced, 37 degrees, as is used on the JIC fitting, and 15 degrees, as is used in the port of a standard O-ring boss port entry. The ball bearings here represent molecules of the pressurized medium, which, when a gap occurs, will eventually pass through that gap. And as we move the fittings apart, the faces apart, the axial gap, once large enough to allow a single molecule through, will of course allow other molecules to follow it, and we have a leak path. But there's still no leak path at 37 degrees until considerably further, greater axial movement occurs. Now we have a leak path at 37 degrees, but at 15 degrees, which is in the port, we still have no leak. And the size of gap required to create a leak at 15 degrees, with the geometry working for us, is significantly larger than for the 37 degrees or axially.